bringing us on camera, James, the storyline right now of that matchup really has been all on Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. One of the greatest seasons we've seen in probably the last 10 years. Leads the league in passing yards, touchdowns, chase.
Balling.
Everything.
Balling.
Leads the league in everything. We're not talking enough, though, about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, a beautiful surprise for the Steelers this year, but as of late, it's been a curse more than a blessing. James, do you think Russell Wilson's future, it's in jeopardy now? 3 consecutive losses. Is it in jeopardy with the Steelers if they lose again Saturday?
No, I think it's in jeopardy only on how the playoffs go.
Yep.
Russell Wilson was brought here to get them over the hump in the playoffs. Mike Tomlin has shown us that I don't care if it's Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, whoever you give me, I'm going to win games and find a way to get into the playoffs. He's shown us that. But when they get into the playoffs, we all know they are outnumbered because they don't have the quarterback at the quarterback spot. So for Russell Wilson to have an opportunity to come back to Pittsburgh next year, to me, it is all on the playoffs. If he goes in the playoffs and he wins 1 or 2 games, I think Russell Wilson will be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh. If he goes in the playoffs and he's one and done, I think it's questions like, he did the same thing them other quarterbacks did. Do we need to go get another quarterback in free agents? Do we got to draft one? I think those are the questions you'll have. So for Russell Wilson, it is all about the playoffs. You're in. You're in. Seeding and all that is still up in the air, but you are in the playoffs. It matters how he plays in the playoffs. We brought you here for playoff wins, not regular season.
I agree. Look, I don't think it matters at all. Like, pay the man. He's going to be there regardless of what he does in the playoffs. I don't care if he loses. Like, we forget that this franchise has been looking for a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger.
That's true.
And they have had one of the best defenses during that span. Now, if you look, and I don't want to spend all the time on the defense, their defense since Week 12 is allowing 28 points a game. This is not the Steelers' defense. We've talked about it a lot, too. This offensive line is one of the poorest at playing against pressure, and the front 4 defensive line in the entire league. Russell started 6-1. They've lost 3 straight, 4 untimely turnovers, 2 of them in the red zone. That matters, okay? You can't do that. And we've said this before, and I know you're he's pressing to me. He has to score more points than normal. Get back to that under-center play action stuff that you're doing. I think that they're going to pay the man regardless of what happens now, regardless of what happens in the playoffs. The dude's a Super Bowl champion. The dude's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I think he has 2 more years. I would imagine a 3-year deal, 2 guaranteed. Like, that's how I see it. And in the meantime, you do have to go out and you do have to find your next franchise quarterback. It could be a sit and wait type of thing, learn from Russ, because they got to figure that out. They've been going veteran after veteran. Kenny Pickett didn't work out, I get that. But veteran after veteran, Justin Fields is there. He's not the answer long term, I don't think. But Russ has done some amazing stuff. I mean, dude, 15 touchdowns, 5 picks. I know we're talking about him because they're on a 3-game losing streak. He's been phenomenal for the Steelers.
Here's my fear, Shady, because I've heard you say you agree with my fear is this, and I have to respectfully disagree with my dog Chase, because if you lose this week, that's 4 losses in a row. That means you would be on the road in the playoffs, potentially having to face the Ravens in your first playoff game.
Succeed, yeah.
You're not going to be favored in that game, with all due respect. So now you lose 5 games in a row, potentially, if you lose in the playoffs, like James has said, cannot happen. Imagine having to write a check to Russell Wilson for 45, 50 mil.
What? I would imagine it's
Annually?
somewhere in the 40s.
Yeah, for $40 million.
Yeah.
Imagine having to write a check to Russell Wilson for $45 million annually, and you're on a 5-game losing streak. Imagine having the same record you had when Kenny Pickett was your starter, but now you got to pay the dude $45 million, albeit the play has been different. But Russell Wilson was supposed to be a bridge quarterback. Yeah. If you sign him to another 2 years after 1 year, that's 3 years. That's a long bridge in the NFL.
I don't think
a bridge quarterback's supposed to be a year, maybe 2 years at the most. So I just don't know how much confidence you can have in writing a $120 million, maybe $100 million guaranteed check on a 5-game losing streak.
I think he is the bridge quarterback for the Steelers. I think they will sign him. I'm not worried about the losing streak they got. Because, like Chase talked about, they're not playing Pittsburgh football, right? Because we could point, the easy thing and the lazy thing to do is point to Russ. It's Russ' fault by losing everything. That's lazy. You watch the tape, the brand of Steeler football from back then to now has always been the same thing. We're going to play great defense first. Before we talk about any other position, we're going to play great defense. Yeah. That's who they are. They haven't been doing that. Okay, so now you want an offense that is not equipped to go for 28, 30, 35 points a game. That's not who they are. They did it before, but they don't have the talent to be doing that. They don't have the offensive line to be doing it. They don't have the running backs to be doing that. Yeah. Okay? So now you got to change your whole way of playing football. I think for Russ, he's a good quarterback for the Steelers. I think you give him a 3-year deal, 2 guaranteed, right? That's a bridge quarterback type of deal.
It's a fair deal.
Now, y'all can work the numbers out however you want to do them, but 3 years. And I think this year you don't draft quarterback because the quarterbacks in this draft, if you're not 1 and 2, right, with Cam or with Shador, you're wasting your time. Yeah. But I think the year after that, maybe you go out there and get you a really good quarterback. You know
the question for me then for you, Shady, James, really Chase and Shady is, then why Russ? Like, why would you give a guy $45 or $50 million if you're going to have the same results as Kenny Pickett, and not even the same results as Kenny Pickett, because that's a low vibration conversation. Why Russ if Russ can't be an overcomer? Because what we were saying about Russ week 8, week 7, week 6 is, hey, he can bring you back if you're trailing. That's what Justin Fields couldn't do. Like, that was a conversation we were all saying at the desk. Well, Russell Wilson, they were putting up more points.
More explosive.
They were much more explosive.
Overcomer.
So we were saying, like, in the event they were trailing, you could come back from down. I think they played the Bengals the first time, and it was a shootout, if I'm not mistaken.
It was. But talking about another thing, is like, he what? Out of the 3-game losing streak right now?
Yeah, 4 turnovers.
So 2 of them, he didn't have his number 1 target on offense.
Correct, Pickens.
Pickens, that matters. Like, all these things. Mike Tomlin, if you want to know something about a team, you listen to what the players say in the media and what the coach says. Mike Tomlin said, we are a different team. Not a different offense. We are a different team when George Pickens is out there.
Agreed. 1,000%.
So, and like Russ, and he's a little older, and like he can't just do it himself no more. Them days are gone. But that don't mean you can't be a good offensive and good quarterback if you can't do it.
And my question, not my answer to you would be like, who else is out there that you're going to get?
That's a great one.
Like, you have a Super Bowl champion leading your team. He's proven he can do it. I think if
and they look different when he started.
Yes, they look way different. They look more explosive. They had better offensive line play. Go figure out the offensive line in the offseason. Figure out, I mean, it's hard to say, but figure out the defense. Yeah. I think if you go back, and if they do lose 5 in a row, like you were saying, and you got this whole thing, I think objectively you take a step back from the season and you just review Russ's play. And I think from reviewing Russ's play in the 13 games he would play, if we're counting the playoffs, which we are, you're going to say he played winning football.
Yes, he did.
I don't think a little bitty blip, but I'm telling you, it depends.
That's the problem.
Bro, I get that, but if you look at it, is Russell Wilson the reason why we're losing 5 in a row?
That's my question.
No.
But he's contributing.
He is contributing, but you look at what he can do. Okay, we can get this Russ. He takes care of his body better than anyone I've ever seen. He puts a lot of time into it. A 2-year deal is not that long. Who else are you going to go out there and get? They've been in QB conundrum since Ben Roethlisberger's out. At least you can trust Russ to go out there and right the ship.
I put Russ in the Sam Darnold conversation, not as player. I'm talking contract-wise.
Got it.
If Russell Wilson goes out here and loses 5 straight, that means he lost 5 straight to winning teams.
Yes,
if we talking about the 6-1 record Russ had, a lot of them teams wasn't really like that. You understand?
Been through a gauntlet.
So this is 5 games of winning teams. These are the games we brought you over here for, to help us beat these teams. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we started the season off with Justin Fields because we knew the schedule was weak.
Yep.
And they knew they was going to have an opportunity to win those games. That's why I truly believe Russ didn't go out there early neither, because those teams was weak. We could win them games on defense, right? We brought Russ in to win against winning teams, and now you are showing me 5 weeks in a row that you can't beat winning teams. So for me, I'm not saying Russ should not be back. I 100% agree with y'all. Russ should be back. 3 years, that's out if you win no playoff games. You are franchise tagged for 1 more year, and we'll figure the rest.
Okay. I don't mind that.
And we'll figure the rest out. When we saying 3 years and you get $40 million, and I just watched you lose to 5 winning teams and get smoked and lose in the playoffs. No, franchise tag, you are our quarterback, and we'll figure the rest out.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.